Well, welcome to another edition of Ask the Pastor. Our special guest today is um, Matt Bohling, teaching elder in the PCA and the executive director of Flourish Coaching. Good afternoon, Matt. How are you doing today?
Well, it's afternoon for you. It's morning for me out here in the sunny West. I'm doing well today. Good to
Okay.
talk to you.
It's one of the challenges of working with you is we are 3 hours apart, and a lot of times when I'm trying to unwind in the evening, you're just sending out all sorts of stuff my
You should
way.
try coaching missionaries in other countries. You want time zone challenges.
So, one of the things that I think people wonder about, in fact, some people have been skeptical about the church engaging in this intentional process, is
Mhm.
just what's the value added for the church in engaging in Flourish's intentional process? Would you talk about that?
Sure. So I think the bottom line value add is a better choice in the next pastor who comes to a healthier church. So if you want a healthier church and you want a better choice in your next pastor, it's good to use an intentional process. The way that I typically describe this to people, some people at Chestnut Mountain would have seen this diagram. I think of the three phases of our process. The three basic phases of a good transition process, according to Flourish at least, is assessment, envisioning, and pastor search. We want to get a church to have a great next pastor, but we also want that pastor to come to a church that's more self-aware and more Great Commission oriented than when we got there. And so in the assessment phase, that first phase of three, we're trying to answer two questions. Where have we been and where are we? So the questions of history and present reality. In the envisioning phase, and I'll show how these questions come together for pastor search. In the envisioning phase, we're also trying to answer two questions. Who are we and where are we going? So where on the compass dial are we headed as a church as we try and use our gifts for God's glory where we are, seeing people come to know Christ? Those four questions then come together in a fifth question involved in pastor search, which is who can take us there? And so you can see why you need those first preliminary four questions, because they help us understand the us and the there. So if a church is more self-aware of their history and their present, of their identity and their direction, they have a better sense of themselves and thus what they need in a leader who can take them where God's calling them. And that's to us, that's the value of a transitional process, is we help you answer those questions, including the last one, well.
Well, that's very helpful, Matt. Thank you so much for taking time to be here and to answer some of these really quite fundamental questions that are on the hearts and minds of the people at Chestnut. Have
Glad
a
to do it.
wonderful morning there in Idaho.
And you have a wonderful afternoon there.